What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting across from me this week and every week, he's the father of modern medicine, Desra.
And a little bit of non-so-modern medicine also, but yes. Sitting across from me is Brian Paul.
Like holistic medicine? Like, what's the alternative here?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of something clever and nothing happened, so.
And every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we grab a game out of the back catalog of PlayStation VR. We pull it out, we play the crap out of it.
We bring it to life.
We do. It's like we're like Dr. Frankenstein's.
Or animating zombies.
Ooh, zombies. Yeah, how appropriate this week. In the point of all of this is, Des, I think sometimes we forget the point of all of this is that sometimes games.
There's a point?
Sometimes games get worse over time because they were okay for the time that they came out.
Sure.
And sometimes they get better over time because the developers put a lot of thought and care into it, and they patch the crap out of it, and they fix all of our complaints.
Yeah. Sometimes neither happens.
With that in mind, what game are we going to talk about this week, Desra?
Well, Fred, this week we're going to talk about Arizona Sunshine.
I should really change my name down there.
To Fred.
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 I'm sure somebody has that. Arizona Sunshine by Vertigo Games came out all the way back July 5th of 2017.
Long time ago.
So, I mean, it was like a half a year ago.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago in terms of a console that's only been out for like just over a year.
That's true.
Half of a lifespan ago.
Those were the days.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. We're not killing the banter. I apologize.
Those pre-Skyrim.
Pre-Skyrim, post-Skyrim. That's how we're going to mark the calendar from now on.
I really should be. Yeah.
So you and I often don't talk about our opinions about games before we start the show.
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes we do. I try not to, especially if it's something that we're going to be, filming like right away. But yeah.
But I also think it's pretty apparent, pretty obvious to all of our viewers. They know my opinion about Arizona Sunshine.
Do they?
Well, my review when it came out was pretty scathing. I did a Let's Play later on that was like really, really bad.
Yep.
Right? I was getting all sorts of bad things. And so I think most people tuning in today are going to be like, well, here we go.
Brace yourselves.
But they've never asked Desra what he thinks of this game. And so I'm asking you for the very first time, what do you think of Arizona Sunshine? What was your experience with it?
I kind of have mixed feelings. So I did actually, I'm kind of joking, I did watch your first review. I remember when it first came up, and I was like, wow, that thing looks like a steaming pile. And, and in the clips that you showed on your review, and the stuff that was available, like the voiceover stuff seemed awful. The graphics were not not great. And it just seemed to be not so great of a game. I will say, after playing it, the voice acting and the character definitely grew on me a little bit.
Okay.
I did find myself enjoying him a little, and I sort of sympathized with him, kind of like, this is sort of the stuff I'd be saying to myself if I was stuck in the middle of the desert with zombies for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Exactly. Unless I missed something, we're still a little hazy on exactly how long he's been alone.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery to this in terms of like who our main character really even is.
Yeah.
They never give him a name.
No.
In fact, like we're not even really sure where we are until later on in the game.
Right.
I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah. And so I did actually find myself enjoying that part of it quite a bit. Just his constantly referring to all the zombies as Fred, and just yelling at him like, "You are not allowed to sneak up on me like that anymore." And slowly as he kind of, I don't know if it's getting spoilers, sort of starts to break down a little bit, and you kind of lose the veneer of the comedy as bad things happen. So that I was, I enjoyed that more than I thought. Graphically, I don't know if it's had some improvement from what we saw there. I mean, it's still not knocking out of the park, but it wasn't awful, and we've seen some pretty awful graphics in the PSVR. It wasn't fantastic, wasn't awful. The biggest problem I had, and this is surprising, a few weeks ago we talked about cat lateral damage.
Yeah.
And that was the first game we came across where, the VR version was significantly worse. I think for me, this is the first version where the move controls were way worse than the DS4.
This is going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. So
I just dropped a bomb there, didn't I?
Just to give like an overarching concept of what this game's all about, in case you haven't played it, in case you haven't checked out any of the other videos about it. You are. This is a first-person shooter.
Yes.
That mostly plays out in the middle of Arizona desert, and it's the zombie apocalypse, kids.
Right.
The world is over as we know it. If there's survivors, they're very few and far between. And you're playing as this one guy, and I'm gonna say straight out right now, there's not a lot to do other than kill zombies.
No, there is wrestle with cranks.
There's okay, yeah, okay. I'm taking a note of that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not a euphemism. It's really just like you thought you knew how to use a crank, but apparently you need to make enormous swooping motions with your hand.
I feel like maybe we should have talked about this game beforehand because I'm going to teach you a few things today.
Okay.
So this game came out, like I said, back in July.
Yes.
And since then, it's been patched a few times.
Okay.
Very recently, actually, we just got patched 1.03. And according to the patch notes, I just downloaded it today. It's like 6 gig or something. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
According to the patch notes, it just adds the 2 new Horde Maps.
Right.
The multiplayer stuff, which you can play single player. I hope we get around to talking about that later. But right now, we want to talk about the core game. And it doesn't say anything about bug fixes, doesn't talk about anything like that. But every single time that somebody on Reddit goes, "Hey, there's a new patch for Arizona Sunshine. Let's go check it out. Does anyone know any differences? Has anyone tried it? Does it fix anything?" Because when this game first came out, man, it was like riddled with problems, and I think it was riddled with more problems for some people than others.
Okay.
Like the biggest complaint that I ever saw about this game was that if you're using the aim controller, the tracking is horrible.
Okay.
Now, I never had that problem. Like I was raising my aim controller up to like my face, like to the VR headset, and I was looking down the sights, and I was picking people off one by one, and I was like, no tracking issues whatsoever. And so for a guy who basically hated this game, like that, I didn't even experience the worst problem most people did.
Yeah, so I will say, I was going to get to it a little later, but I found myself enjoying this game quite a bit. So one of the aiming issue that a lot of people have with it, I actually really enjoyed the fact that you actually have to sight down the sights of the gun.
Yeah.
That actually added a level of immersion I really enjoyed. Some people were like, "Oh, it sucks because you have to." I was like, "No, that's how you actually use a weapon. You don't just like eyeball it. You've got to actually take a bead down the barrel." So that I really enjoyed.
Have you shot guns before?
I have.
Okay. Never shotgun in my life.
Okay.
Never. I mean, like, my dad let me shoot his BB gun at a pie plate one time when I was a kid, which is fine. Like, I missed it, like, by 1,000 miles. Like, I probably shot the neighbor's dog. Like, that's how off I was, which maybe, a little knowledge of this would have helped me in this game. But I haven't... When this game came out, I had a big issue with how realistic they were going for. Like the fact that you had to do the whole sighting thing, the fact that you had to drop the clip out of the I don't even know what it's called.
The magazine
Out of the gun, and then you had to bring the gun close to you to reload it.
Yeah,
and I was like, do we really need this? And then your guns were holstered down here, and I was like, isn't there just a button to cycle between these things? And I was like, man, give me my game.
Yeah,
I don't want real life shooting simulator. Give me my game. And it drove me up the wall because it just felt so unintuitive and so unnatural.
Yeah.
So spoilers right now for the rest of the episode. I've done a complete 180 on this game.
Really? Okay.
Like, I mean, I played it today.
Yep.
And I've dropped into it here and there. Anytime someone said there's a big patch, Brian, you're going to go check it out. I was like, yeah, of course I will. I'm always ready to give games a second chance.
Sure.
Accounting Plus, I did a 180 on in the middle of a day. Like, it took me all of like 6 hours to do a 180 on that game.
Oh, wow.
This took me the better part of 6 months.
Okay.
So I've dropped into this game here and there, and I don't know what happened today. No, I do know what happened today. I played it with the DualShock 4, and I was like, I played it with the aim, and I was like, yeah, this is everything I remember, and I kind of hate it.
Okay.
And of course, the aim controller is my preferred method, because not only do you get the movement of the guns in your hands.
You get the analog sticks, and you can actually move.
You also have the analog sticks. It's like the best of both worlds 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And I said, screw it. I hate this game. And I put down the aim, and I put down the DualShock 4, and I picked up my Move controllers, and I was like, last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
I got to be able to talk about this game with some kind of intelligence today.
Okay.
And everything changed.
Really?
Like that.
Wow.
Yep. I'm not teleporting around. I'm using full locomotion.
Okay.
I'm like, and I'm doing it like. It took me a while to learn. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I was like, oh, perfect, everything's great.
Yeah.
But the second I dropped into the game with the moves, and I had a gun in each hand, and it was the 1-to-1 movement, and then I was like, oh, how do I switch guns? And I was like,
there you go.
Oh, hey, that actually makes sense. I went down, reached down, I grabbed the other gun, and I was like, but I remembered these being kind of out of sight, like because you don't have to look down to grab a gun. You know where it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was sort of like checking off all these boxes, all the things that I hated about the game. I was like, well, let's see if I still hate this.
Yeah.
And in reloading, I was like, this is actually kind of cool. Like I sort of enjoyed the whole thing.
Okay.
Again, it took me a long time to learn. I was like, and I was starting to count bullets in my head. Because there's no indicator on your gun, like a normal video game, how many more bullets you have.
Right. And yeah, it turns out your Smith & Wesson actually doesn't have those in the real world either.
Right. And again, this was my biggest, one of my many complaints about the game was that I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be a game. I didn't need a gun simulator.
Yeah.
I wanted a game that was fun. We're shooting zombies. It's a zombie apocalypse. I'm like, why are we going real life here when it makes things more difficult? And I don't know what clicked, but it suddenly did.
Okay.
Now, the other thing I didn't like is like going and picking things up. Like it was like, oh, hey, there's some ammo in that car. And so you actually have to you don't walk up to it and hit a button. You like reach out, you grab it, and then you bring it toward you.
Yes.
And I found myself like getting nostalgic about the game Dead Island because I remember going all around that game and being like, I'm trying to find all sorts of things. You're trying to find money, trying to find this and that, and I was just rifling through everyone's luggage trying to find all this stuff. And now I'm like going through people's cars. You know, I'm opening up every single door, and I'm like looking in. I'm actually peering in as if I'm really in this world.
Yeah.
And for a game whose graphics are like mediocre, like I started really feeling like I was in there. I was like peering in cars, and then I was like, I can't totally see it. I opened up the car door, and I'd reach in, grab it, and pull the stuff toward me. And I was like, this is all suddenly working for me, and I can't figure out why suddenly. I think it's because I gave the moves more of a chance than ever. I think it's because I'm like talking nonstop.
That's right.
This is sort of, this isn't like an apology, but this is sort of like me like confessing, like saying, hey, like I might have been wrong about this game the whole time, or all these patches have come across, and and all the bugs and things kind of got fixed for me just enough where my brain connects with it more. So I don't know. I think since this game's come out, we've gotten the Solus Project, we've gotten Raw Data, we've gotten Skyrim, and I think we've all come to terms with full locomotion with move controllers. Like here's how buttons work, you know, to move you around when you don't have analog sticks. Yeah. And I think finally all those other games taught me how to play this one. Okay.
Well, as a counterpoint, I would say like I still really stand by the aiming. I think the aiming, having to aim down the side of the barrel is fantastic.
Yeah.
But the reloading specifically is so counterintuitive and difficult with the move controllers that's one of the main reasons I actually enjoyed switching back to the DS, because it does really mess with the emergently aiming, like having to lift up the DualShock controller to your face. That doesn't really feel natural. With the move, it feels great.
Right.
But the fact that you can reload really quickly by just keeping the DS kind of in that section, so in sections where you're being hoarded, you know, remembering to fire, oh, bring it in here, fire, bring it. You know, you can just actually sit it down at your chest level, sort of in that zone, and just reload right there. Okay. Super easy. And it's funny, like you mentioned, oh, I just want to play my game. Yeah. That realistic part of, you know, having to reach over and pick up ammo and do all that for me got in the way of the gameplay part of it. It tried so hard to create a realistic feeling of doing something that it took away from the game, especially again when you're being mobbed, where it's, you know, in those moments. Yeah, it's just I don't have time to be thinking about all that. I want it to be natural, you know, kind of like we were sort of ragging on people in our Doom review. It's like, no, I know the kind of things I want to do when I'm facing a horde of enemies. I want to do some kiting, you know, etc. I don't want to have to be thinking about hand management and weapon management and all that.
When I say it took a long time to learn the move controllers, that this is one of the many things that frustrated me. Yeah. Because when like more than a couple zombies were even remotely close to me, it was all over. I might as well just like put down the controllers and waited for them to kill me. But also with the sense of realism, if you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, like, you got to take these things, you got to like start picking them off one by one from a distance, because the second they get close, it is over.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this was like by design or what, but yeah, no. Second you have to reload while somebody's attacking you right in front of your face.
Yeah.
It's pretty much over.
Which, even that would be okay if then you weren't saddled with a really janky locomotion system. Like, I found myself, because I was using the teleporting, and okay, fine, maybe that's my fault for using teleporting instead. But I found myself like, okay, I just got my ass kicked in this section. I need to find some place where I can stand with my back against the wall, because once it starts, I'm not going to be able to reliably use the motion to get out of the way. So I need to put myself someplace safe where I can, face everybody.
I don't think you're in the wrong here, like, because even with full locomotion, like, I was doing the exact same thing.
Okay.
Like with teleportation or full locomotion, I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Because you just need to make sure no one can get you from behind. Mm-hmm. And actually, I mean, this actually brings me to one of the things I couldn't believe was still a problem with this game.
Yeah.
And that's that if you are, like, say, exploring a tent, right? Mm-hmm. Before you go in someplace, you look around, you make sure the whole place is clear, and then you're like, okay, now I can go in here, and you kind of keep an eye on the entrance, making sure no one's coming in, right? And then the next thing you know, someone's attacking you, and the only reason you know that a zombie's attacking you is because the screen's turning color.
Yeah,
and not because of any kind of sound effect. Like I didn't hear this guy shuffle in.
Mm-hmm. Because he didn't. They just popped into existence.
Is that what happens, or is there just zero sound design in this game?
Well, it could be that, but there was one section specifically I'm thinking of where there's sort of like imagine kind of like a checkmark shaped cave.
Okay.
And there was absolutely a fence on this side. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put myself in the middle where these two caves open. I know nobody can come from this side because that's all blocked off.
Yep.
So I can just turn my back to that gap and face over here, and then I get attacked.
Yeah.
And the only way that's possible is if it just popped into existence in that area and not actually have the characters kind of walk towards me. So I think there were definitely some sections where the game, I don't want to say the game cheated, but it didn't play by the rules it established. If it's just a wave shooter where things can pop up randomly, that's fine. That's the kind of game we're playing. But we're trying to pretend like it's a real-ish world, and they have to come from somewhere to come get me. You can't be pulling that crap.
No, yeah. I know that there was one point where I saw a zombie and he was on the other side, and he was very distinctive looking. He had like a football helmet on, and he had like specific clothes, and I was like, oh, he's on the other side of a locked door or a locked gate. I'll deal with him when I come back with the key. Yeah. And like I turned around 10 seconds later and he was on the other side. Like he had come through the locked gate. Now, don't get me wrong. Anything could have happened when I had my back turned. Was there a small area for him to crawl over? Because they do climb gates.
Absolutely.
So was there? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he just walked right through the damn gate. So I don't know. Like there are still issues with this game. There were numerous times that I would get caught on like collision detection just wasn't working right.
Yeah.
Like I would just be walking along and then stop.
Yep.
And be like, what am I stuck on? I look down, there's like this tiny little rock, and I was like, that can't be it. And I had to like legit like back up and move around and go past. And I was like, what did I get just stuck on? Edges of things and stuff, and and you're often opening car doors right into yourself. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be very comfortable in VR, otherwise that's not going to make you feel very good.
Yeah. I think my biggest issue though with all this, like I'm sounding like I'm really crapping on this game. I really did enjoy it for the most part, except for a problem that I think a lot of people are having: tracking issues. Yeah. I mean, I would get a half hour, 45 minutes in, and all of a sudden and not my usual, okay, there's something bright in the room and, I need to fix things. Right. Just all of a sudden I'm holding, the gun I'm holding all of a sudden is just flipped 180.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with nothing in my environment has changed. It's just suddenly like the gun is just aiming in all these different places. I'm not moving or teleporting where I thought. And I got to the point where I exited out. I played Skyrim for a while. Okay, everything's good. I played Spark for a while. Okay, everything's good. Go back to Arizona Sunshine, and everything's all crazy again. So it's not my room setup.
Something's wonky with this game.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't having any issues with the aim as far as tracking goes, as far as like aiming. Mm-hmm. This was something people were having issues with when you put it up to your face, like everything would get jittery because they couldn't. Oh, you were having this issue?
That happened with the sniper rifle. There's a couple times where you get to a sniper rifle level, and it got to the point where I was hip firing a sniper rifle because it was actually more accurate than trying to hold it up to my face, which there's something wrong there.
Yeah, I see. I don't have those types of tracking issues. I do have the types of issues that you were just describing, but it was more of a gradual shift. Like over the course of half an hour. Eventually, like my gun, like I'm holding it this way and it's sort of facing this way, and I have to shake it. If I shook it, then it would come back, but only briefly. And so like I'd be like, okay, I got to shoot this guy. I'd shake the thing, then take him out, and then it's like sort of all off to the side again. And so I was definitely
which in a first-person shooter, when you're facing hordes of zombies, is problematic.
Yeah. Yep. So and I hate to say it, but man, this game definitely, like from the get-go, when you start this game up, it really just it wants you not to like it because you start up and you're in that trailer, right? And like that's like your menu screen. And I gotta say, more times than not, I've started this game up and I'm unable to move, and that's because my character is stuck in a piece of furniture. And so
I haven't had that. Okay.
Almost every time I start the game, I'm stuck in a piece of furniture, and I have to, because in the analog sticks won't work, none of the buttons on the move controllers work, and so the only thing I can do is literally take my body and step like 2 feet to the right, so that my character steps out of whatever he's stuck in. And then I move forward, and then I can go back to my normal position.
Yeah.
And then you have to walk up to the menu screen, and wow, what a counterintuitive menu screen!
Oh my gosh.
You have to pick up a gun just to make selections. It's the whole thing is really convoluted.
Yeah.
People don't even understand like that you can use the aim controller with this game because it's a separate menu where like you have to go through the entire. It's the exact same game but with two-handed weapons, and so you have to, and you can't use saves from one to the next.
Just a question, checking my memory. Which came out first, this or Super Hot?
I don't know.
All right, because in Super Hot, it was really in line with the storytelling that to do different levels, you actually had discs and you put them into a computer.
Yep.
Because you were supposed to be in a virtual reality thing.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm doing that in this game.
Yeah, and why is the menu screen 8-bit?
Yeah, why is it 8-bit? Why am I putting cartridges into it? I don't get it. If you could explain it to me, that would make me feel better, but it's just a little weird. Are we ready for a final judgment on this?
I just want to say one more thing here in terms of... well, I actually cut a couple more things to say. I'm sorry.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So the voiceover... I had an issue with the voiceover the first few times I played this. It was loud and distorted. No matter how low I put the volume,
really? Okay.
It was just totally distorted. And when I played today, it was totally fine.
All right. So I've only ever played it very recently, so I never had experience with that. It sounded perfect to me.
Nope, it sounded great to me, and I will tell you that like I didn't like the character's humor the first time, but I think that had a lot to do with the fact that all the audio was distorted.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, how can you enjoy what somebody's saying, even if it's well scripted, if it's all distorted? And so that was fixed for me today. Not having any issues with that. Also, you had mentioned about the crank.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, with doors, with cranks, with everything in this game, in case you haven't picked it up yet, this is your warning. Don't do what you think you're supposed to do.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Don't crank the crank. Don't pull open doors. Don't pull open cabinets. When you walk up to something and that little circle turns yellow, that means you can interact with it. Just push the button. Just boom, and then the crank will turn all by itself, and then the door will open all by itself. And trying to figure out how to make this all work with a move controller, the realistic thing they were going for, don't do it. Because that's not how this game works.
Okay.
Yep.
So that brings me on to actually a point I forgot.
Yeah.
You know what's awesome in a VR game?
Right.
Being interactive with all sorts of different objects. Pick things up, check them out.
Yep.
Especially if there's a reason to do that.
Yeah.
How about those masks? Is there something I'm missing?
Yeah. So
with there's all these masks and hats everywhere. It'd be great if I could find a cowboy hat and put it on.
And you can put them on. You can only have one
How?
article. You pick it up and you put it on. And if you can't put it on, if it drops to the floor, that means you've already got something on. So you grab it and you take it off.
It'd be nice
if you knew that.
If that was explained at any point.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with this game. But again, there's no real need for any of these things until you do some multiplayer.
Okay.
And you just want your character to look a little bit different.
Okay.
But there's not a need for most things in this game.
Yeah.
You're looking for ammo, and if your health is low, which is again tough
How
to
about
figure
this?
out. Yeah, you find burgers.
No. The first thing you find
Oh God.
are things that look like med kits. In any other game in the universe,
Oh God, that's
this
true.
is how you would get healed.
Yep.
Big green bags with the Red Cross symbol on it. Okay. I'm embarrassed to say how long I stood there smashing. I had a med kit into my face and nothing happened. Like,
Nothing.
okay, oh, maybe it's these pill bottles because there's pill bottles everywhere too.
Yep.
No, that's not it.
Yep.
I open a refrigerator and find some burgers. Oh, this will be cute. Really?
Yeah.
Really, out of everything in the game that I tried smashing into my face, this is what's going to heal me.
That's the health kit. Burgers. And there's burgers everywhere in this game. And I can't even tell, and maybe I'm missing something. Please, let me know in the comments. I'm sure you will anyway. How, if I'm walking around and everything seems fine, but I know I got hit by a zombie, where the hell's my health?
On your watch.
Oh, that's absolutely right. I did know that. I totally knew that.
Yeah.
And but I never checked because in every other game I've ever played, the screen turns a little red or something where you don't have to check your watch to see how you're feeling.
Yeah.
That's on me. That's my bad. But
No,
oh, man.
no, it's not.
You
No,
know,
it's not.
But I know. I knew the watch was there, and I didn't utilize it the way I was supposed to. But still, yeah, that's ridiculous.
No.
So, okay, and just let's cover the multiplayer real quick.
Okay.
At first, when this game launched, it launched with one Horde map, and it was the worst. It was the worst thing on the planet. It gave you a little tent in the middle of the desert, and you could only walk to the extent of the edge of the tent. Even though the zombies were coming in from all directions, from far off in the desert, you were stuck. You were stuck. There were invisible walls everywhere. I remember Dave Station and I were running around being like, "Is this thing broken?" Like, we literally couldn't figure out how it worked. Your characters, they never look right to each other. Sometimes your other character's invisible. Like, it's a mess. But the benefit is that you can play with up to 4 players or by yourself if you like that kind of challenge.
Okay.
So there is a thing there. Luckily, the DLZ, they call it, the downloadable content that came out, added 2 new Horde maps. And luckily, they're so much better than that first one. One of them is, oh God, let me get this right. One of them, you're playing in the tunnels.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and it's all dark. Mm-hmm. And at first, they only give you 1 flashlight for however many players you have. It doesn't matter, right?
That's okay.
And so you have to work together, right? And then you can run to get supplies and stuff. But who knows if you're going to make it back?
Right.
Very interesting, and I think that's really well done. And then the next one's a warehouse. That's way bigger than I can't believe they even launched the original Horde map. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And these other 2 are actually really good.
We got to get something multiplayer out there somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. They're we can't launch this without multiplayer, even if the multiplayer is totally garbage.
Yeah.
So the Horde mode really, really improved. If you're looking to do something with 3 other people, there's not a ton of other games. Obviously we have Starblood and Smashbox, but there's not a ton of other games where you can go out in a team.
Yeah.
And take down some zombies. This is kind of it.
Bloody zombies?
Sure. you do make an excellent point. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
This game launched at $40.
Okay.
And I'm going to say the way it launched, it was really not worth anyone's time or money.
No, absolutely not.
But here we are 6 months later. Mm-hmm. It's still $40 retail. Yeah. But it's current when this thing airs. Happy New Year's, everybody! By the way,
Happy New Year.
Totally forgot to wish everyone Happy New Year's. We're like the holiday people around here, right? It's Christmas, New Year's. We're bringing it all in with you.
Woo. Rosh Hashanah? No, not yet.
You got to keep me posted on that one. I don't know, I'm really bad. Is that near Martin Luther King Day? No, I'm clueless.
Yeah.
I don't know dates. But currently, when this episode airs, Happy New Year's, it's $20. It's still on sale until the 9th, I think.
9th, okay.
So, let's rate this sucker.
All right. So for a game called Arizona Sunshine, actually, I'm going to throw this in there.
Sure.
Really unique idea to put a zombie game in the sunny, bright desert scenario.
Yeah, nothing scary about that, right? So what an interesting take.
Right, and then 5 minutes into that, I'm going into tunnels. Where it's dark again.
Wait. I'm going to make a little counterpoint here because apparently, So it wasn't just 5 minutes, right? I actually, by the time I found the first tunnel, after the crank, right, I was kind of sick of the environment. I was like, okay, we get it. Okay. Arizona sunshine, desert. Oh, good. I finally get something different. I get to go into this mine shafts, whatever the hell they called it. And I was like, sweet. And oh, good. There's a flashlight. And oh, this is fun because now I'm holding a flashlight and I'm shooting and I'm feeling all like badass about it. And I was like, and it started to get real creepy. They got me real comfortable out in the light.
All right.
And by the time I was sick of being in the dark, I was like, God, get me out of here. It was time to get out of the dark and back into the bright sun. And so I do think that even though the level design in this could use a little work, I actually think that was brilliantly done.
Okay. All right. I like the change of pace of having a horror style zombie game in a bright, sunny environment. I thought that was neat. And it's like, oh, now you're just taking that. Now it's just like every other scary zombie shooting game where it's all dark and, ooh, things are going to come out at me from the shadows.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, so rating time. So number 1 is, oh my God, you need to buy this. If you own a PSVR, this is something that has to be in your library yesterday.
Yeah.
2, meh, it's okay. If it's on sale, pick it up, but you're not like missing anything horrible. But we're not going to laugh at you if you buy it. And 3 is, oh my God, do not buy this. Friends don't let friends buy crap. We cannot reward these people for putting this game out. So, what do you think?
I think this is about as 2 as a game will ever get ever on the show.
It's absolutely a 2 for me. Yeah.
If I spent $40 on this, again, then I'd be real upset because it's buggy, it's glitchy, it's got problems, and it's just not polished. And I feel like a $40 game at this point, especially a shorter one this one's not a terribly long game.
No, like 4 hours, maybe?
Roughly.
Yeah.
It doesn't look beautiful or anything. This is no Resident Evil 7. This is a game that you need to put out at a budget price.
Yeah.
And $40 is dangerously close to like the $50 price point that Farpoint was at, and which was much, much more polished. And has also had a whole lot more support since launch.
And here's the weird thing. I mean, they are releasing patches regularly, but they don't seem to be addressing the core issues that a lot of people have with this.
Right.
Like, great, we have these new Horde maps, but I'd like my gun to
stay where it's supposed to be.
It to. Yeah.
So I think at $20, again, luckily it's on sale when we're talking about this. The $20 price point I think is pretty great for this game. In fact, I think it should have launched at $20.
Yeah.
And now that you get some new DLC, and a few things have been addressed patch wise, I mean, I think you're looking at a pretty decent game. And I gotta say, this takes Brookhaven out of the wave shooter realm. Like this takes Brookhaven, so a game that I loved, and lets you explore the world instead of making you stay in one spot.
Sure.
And currently there's no other game that lets you do the things that are happening in Arizona Sunshine. There's no other games that let you feel like, God, I really hate saying this, but you really do feel like you're shooting guns.
Yeah.
And it feels pretty good.
Well, no recoil, but sure.
Okay, but no other game feels quite this way, and it is very, it's got a very interesting take on this whole mechanic.
Yeah.
I've really come around on this one, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Just today it happened, and I was like, wait, are you kidding me? I was dreading this episode. And I knew that we had to do it because this is the point of this show, is to look back on games and see how they aged and see what happened since the last time we looked at them.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled that we did this because I really do like this game, and it's a strong 2 for sure.
All right. Not so strong for me, but I'll still give it a 2.
Excellent.
Right. Well, that.
Wow. All right. Well, we got to get going. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. If there's a game that you want us to talk about, make sure you go in the comments. Tell us what you think about Arizona Sunshine. Were you one of the people that sent me death threats? Well, if you were, then
what?
Oh, when I reviewed this game, I got so many death threats it wasn't funny. And if you happen to be one of those people, don't bother leaving a comment because I blocked you a long time ago.
Yeah, that's not what we do here.
But let me know what do you think of this game, and what other games do you want us to talk about? So, for Why We Love PlayStation VR, I'm Brian Paul.
I'm Desra,
and we'll see you next week.